yo, yo.
What's
Oh, wait. It's the 60s. Is that what they do there?
probably not.
So what would they do?
Mm.
They would do a little jingle. They'd be like, dumb ideas. You know, like a radio.
Yeah. Ready?
Mm.
Wait.
Oh.
You have to have an intro.
Dumb ideas.
What's cooking? A good looking.
Whoa. Welcome back to our radio show.
Yeah. And I bet anyone who has been watching the past few episodes are like, why the hell is it still gray and black now? And the answer to that is we haven't painted
We don't
yet.
we don't
Still.
have the money for it yet. Just wait. Unless you want to
Yeah.
donate to us.
Yeah.
Well, let's just jump right into our dumb ideas, shall we?
Yes.
So, I don't have one overarching one. Wait, what does that mean? I don't have one, like, big one. I have 3 smaller ones to kind of add up to one big one. Number 1, I was laying in my bed, and I was, like, so parched. And I was, like, really lazy. I was like, I don't want to go downstairs. So I roll over, and there's 2 water bottles next to my bed. Yum, water. There's water in there. Guess how long they've been there for? At least a week. So I'm like, it's not going to be that bad. It's been in a bottle. I was wrong. I took a drink. Horrible. It
Bad water.
tasted so yuck.
Ew.
I don't even know what happened to it in there. It was,
Did you look?
no. I just took it downstairs.
What if there was
Immediately.
mold in there?
Oh, well, that's why it's a dumb idea. Because it tasted bad. But, like, I don't think it tastes like mold, although I've never tasted mold before, but it's
Right.
not what I imagine mold to taste like. It
I feel
tasted
like
more
mold
like,
that grows in water probably just doesn't taste like anything.
well, it tasted bad, okay? It tasted yuck. There wasn't, like, chunks or anything. It was just, like,
I'm sure you wouldn't taste that.
you can, like, feel the mold.
Because
like,
you can
chunk.
feel the water. I feel like it'd be kind of just like... Because I feel like mold that's, like, on water, like, can, like, easily just, like...
Dissolve into it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you don't let it sit for that long. Anyway, it was gross. Don't do
Mhm.
that. I do not recommend. Disgusting. Second, I was making tea, and I put the whole entire tea bag in the water, like string and all. Like I put the
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing on accident, and I was like looking for the string, and it was inside the water. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is, I would say, probably the dumbest of all. I was like laying in my bed. I had been watching TV all day, and I was like, I want to go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
My car is parked my sister's car is parked behind me. She's not home. And my car is low on gas. Like, it was, like, low. It was gone, basically. And I was like, I'm not going to drive this to the park. And so what I thought was, I'm just going to ride my bike to the park. It's not that far. Except, yes, it is. It took me 30 minutes. Maybe more like 40 minutes, because I think I left at like 4:10 and I got there at 4:48.
Mm.
So I got, which, like, I was like, it's not gonna be that bad. I'll just enjoy the journey. But there's not sidewalks the whole way there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also not, like, land where you can stand on the whole way there. So I was walking in really tall grass along this road that you would not think is a busy road, okay? Because it's behind the neighborhood, you wouldn't think there's anything going on there. Always there is a car on there. Always. And so...
You should have hitchhiked.
Yeah, shoulda. So, and it had just started to sprinkle, so it was, like, starting to rain. And I was, like, getting a little bit wet, and I have my bike, and there's, like, it's, like, one of those roads where, like, the sides are, like, a drop-off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, not very much grass to walk in that's not up to your, like, knees, because it's hard to mow that part, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, and I'm like, wow, this was a bad idea. And, like, down hills, I would, like, get on the road and ride my bike down the hills, because I was also exhausted. I was so tired. I needed water. I felt like I had been walking in the desert for days. It was crazy. My legs hurt. because I'm not like a super. I'm pretty lazy,
Mm-hmm.
so I hadn't been active in a few days, and so this was just a majorly bad idea.
Yeah.
I almost got run over like twice, I think. And then I finally get to the park. I'm like, yay, I'm here. I start swinging, and I find 2 ticks on me. And I hate those things. And I'm like, okay, this is horrible. I call my mom to come pick me up. I'm not doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go home, I find 3 more ticks on me.
Whoa.
But also, I got home, and I was like, okay, everybody, stay downstairs. Nobody go upstairs right now. Because I'm going to be naked up there. Because I wanted to take all my clothes off and put them in the dryer to kill any other ticks that I didn't get. And so I didn't want to put other clothes on before I check myself to make sure there's no ticks on me, because I didn't want ticks to get on my new clothes. So I'm like, and I didn't want to leave the clothes on my floor while I check for ticks and then put new clothes on and then put them in the dryer, because I didn't want the ticks to get on my floor. So I just stand in the laundry room and strip down and put everything in the dryer, and I run to my room, and I'm completely naked. And I run to my room and check for ticks. I found 1 more. It was on my back, and I was like, this is disgusting. None of them were in me, but all of them were like
Crawling on you.
on me, and I was like, this is literally so gross. I
Yeah.
hate ticks so bad, and I had to touch them with my hands to get them off.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. Anyway, glad none of them were in me, because I hate those things.
Yeah.
Worse than spiders. Like, I'd let a spider be on me. If a tick is on me, it's gone. Like, immediately. But I'd let a spider, depending on the circumstances, I'd let a spider sit on me for a little bit.
Interesting.
But never a tick. Wow. Those guys out here immediately. Because they want to kill you.
They just want to eat.
Me. Yeah, they could eat, like, the squirrel over there. It's, it's trying to give me diseases.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my dumb idea happened 2 days ago on Monday.
Okay.
Well, like, partially Sunday. So, in our timeline, the past Sunday was Father's Day, and so I was, like, hanging out with the fam, and my sister, Marcy, she was, like, saying how her and our friend Riley were gonna possibly go swimming and or watch, a bunch of, like, Love Island.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, Monday. And I was like, I have work, of course. And we were both like, of course. And then I was like, should I like ask for like someone to take my shift? And I was like, no, because like I just should probably have money. And then like the rest of the day went by, and I was like, I'm gonna ask for someone to take my shift. And so I put the little message on the thing, waited, and then like no one was taking it. So I was like, okay, I'll just go into work. And then like late, like I think like around like midnight late, maybe like in the 11th hour, someone was like, I can take your shift. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't thinking this was going to happen. And also in the message, I messaged, and then like a long time passed, and then I had a second message of offering like $20. And then a long time passed again, and then someone was like, oh, I can take it. And then I was like, okay, do you have like Venmo? And they were like, no. But I have Cash App, so I literally got a Cash App. And then they were taking actual ages to respond to every message. Because also they were messaging me on the scheduling platform, which we have our numbers on there. So like usually when someone's like, message me if you want this,
Yeah.
like it means like text me.
Yeah.
But he was like messaging me on the thing, and so that was like odd to do. And
Right.
he was like taking like a long time to message, and I was like, bro, I want to go to sleep. And then I had to freaking send him $20, and then I had to release my shift for him to pick it up, but he wasn't picking it up. And so
They're
then
just scamming you out of $20.
he told me that I can release my shift, and I was like, I did it, but maybe it's because he's only trained in this one specific area, and I'm scheduled to work in this other area he's not trained in, so he can't pick it up because he's not in that area. So I was like, I'll just message our manager and tell her to just put him on there because she can do that. And then she didn't answer, and I was like,
Because it was midnight.
because it was like late. And so I just told him that, and he was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go to bed. And I was like, okay, me too, I guess. So I was like hoping that she was going to answer because I didn't want to have to like wake up or something, but obviously like I did and had to. So I woke up, and then she still hadn't messaged me, and I was like, this is so stressful for no reason.
Yeah.
And so, because this guy was going to go in and have my shift anyways, because like I already paid him the $20. It's just like illegal, air quotes, in the world of Canes, I guess, to like be scheduled for something but not come in. But then I messaged her again in the morning, and I was like, hey, I know it was like late, but like, did you get my message? Like, can you do this and this? And then she was like, oh yeah, sorry, I closed last night. So like she was like busy, obviously, like late into the night. But could you like call the restaurant and like let our other manager who's there know that he's coming in? And I was like, this is so much work.
To watch Love Island all day.
Right. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I knew I was going to have to freaking get a whole app, sign into a whole app, send someone $20, have them not be able to take my shift, go to bed, wake up, send like 500 messages to these two people, and then to have to call in and tell. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that just in case someone listens to this. But so then I was like, yeah. So I had to freaking call, and I was like, hey, I'm not coming in, but this other guy's coming in for me. And she was like, who? And I was like, this guy. And I said his name.
He's not even real.
I said his, like, full legal name. Not going to do that. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I was like, hey, thank goodness.
She's like, he died 4 years ago.
And then, so I was like, end call, and I was like, I'm going back to bed. But when I laid down, I couldn't because my freaking, like, stress was up in the rafters.
Right.
So, like, I was like, I'm awake.
Bummer.
And so I was like, now I can't sleep in. And I can't go back to sleep. So then I just messaged my sister, and I was like, so, like, when are we going swimming?
So, like, when are we going swimming? Cause this is...
And then...
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
She messaged Riley. Here's the shout out you wanted, Riley. Riley said, I don't want to go swimming because I'm too burnt.
Wow.
So I did a lot of work to not go swimming. But Marcy was like, but we'll be watching Love Island all day, so like you can come over and watch that with us. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, this sounds
Get ready
horrible.
for the next part.
Okay.
Then my main like boss manager calls me. And I'm like, why is she calling me? And so like I answered, and she was like, hey, so like did you like release your shift because he asked for your shift or because you didn't want to work? And I was like a mixture of both. And then like she was like, okay, well, we've just had so many call outs, and I was wondering if you were like still free to come in. And I was like, I can't, like, she's literally calling me like voice to voice.
Oh my gosh.
And she, like, I can't just be like, no, I'm gonna go watch Love Island with my sister.
You could have said that you had plans.
And so I said,
Yeah.
let me see what time, because my sister and I were talking about doing something, so let me see what time that was going to be. And like there was no like specific time, but she did say it was going to be like from 11:30 just like through like the lunch hour rush.
Your boss said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like the latest like 3, she said. And so I was like, okay, that's like only like 4 hours basically. So then I was like, yeah, I guess. And then so went through all that work to not work to go into work.
That is crazy.
So I went into work.
Did you see the guy who took your shift?
Yeah.
What was he like?
Honestly, I don't think he knew it was me.
Okay.
I don't think he knew I was the one who gave
It was
him
just
the
a
shift.
name.
Yeah.
There was no face. That's actually insane.
Yeah, and so
I
I
think I would have
worked.
crashed out.
And then I stayed 15 minutes extra after 3 because I did stay all that time. But then I went home. I got McDonald's and watched Love Island.
You know what? But that makes you a reliable worker, and they're gonna that could come back to bite you in the butt.
Bite me in the butt?
Mhm.
Why?
Cause then she'll be like, so this guy will come when I
No, because
call
I
him.
didn't answer one of her calls before that.
Okay.
I saw that it was Kane's, and I was like, I'm not answering
I'm
that
not
because I
answering
know
that.
they're just asking people to come in.
Right. That's actually crazy. Asking someone who called out to come in. Also, whenever I had a job, I made the mistake of saying I would come in early once, but like everyone else was like telling me I shouldn't do that. And I was kind of seen as like, I was not the youngest one there, but I was kind of seen as like the youngest because I was new and I was like, I hate saying shy, but I was. And I was like, I didn't want to do anything, and so no one expected me to come in early, except for my boss. And I was like, but then after that, I said no every time. I said yes like once or twice, and then I was like, I'm not gonna be this person because I wouldn't.
Over.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, because then I would have to come in early and stay my entire shift.
Yeah.
Because everyone else who came in early would just do the early shift and then like leave when the early person would have left. But I closed, so I had to go the whole thing because there was nobody else to close.
Yeah.
And so that's why everyone was telling me not to, because I like literally had to work all those hours. So that's horrible.
Usually if at like my work, if you get like called, asked to like come in early, or if any way like you come in like early, they'll usually try their hardest to let you leave early.
Which is great. That pretty much happened at every other job I had. But I never closed at any other job. We should start asking them what their dumb idea is, like Dora. And what's your dumb idea, listeners? Wow, that's crazy.
That's wild. I can't believe you had to go through that.
Yeah.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, that sounds so dumb. Good one.
All right, welcome to the 60s.
I literally forgot.
Actually?
Yeah, like while sitting here.
Oh.
Because I was just expecting to just talk. I'm going to learn.
Yeah, we're moving in through our little decade series, and we are now in the 1960s. So the 60s, okay, for me, the 60s and 70s are always like, what's what kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty positive the 60s... I don't know what the 60s is, but the 70s is like the hippies, and so maybe the 60s is like disco.
I think the 60s is a perfect blend between the 50s and the 70s. Like, I think it's like literally the middle.
I know.
Of that.
Okay, wait. The 60s is whenever that like futuristic aesthetic started coming in.
I
so like
love
very like
the 60s futuristic.
Perfect like shapes kind of thing, and like futuristic like furniture.
That weird
and,
like circle pattern. That would be on like clothes and like your walls or your couches or something. It was just like a bunch of like circles that would
Yes.
sometimes overlap, and it would be like kind of sporadic. Do you know what I'm
I
thinking?
knew until you said that.
We're probably thinking the same thing. I probably just said it wrong.
Maybe. What about it?
That's it. I was just adding to your thing.
Okay. But yeah, I like looked it up last night. I was like, what's the difference? Well, technically I was saying what's the difference between the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it said the difference is like more like bold colors, and like that's when the futuristic thing started happening. And the 70s was way more like laid back aesthetic, and like that's when the hippies started coming in, and I was like, okay.
When I was younger, I always associated like disco with the 70s
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know why. That's just how they always depicted it in like TV shows and stuff for kids. But then as I got older, my parents and my grandparents told me that that's not right, and that's the 60s. And I'm like, so then why did they do that in the movies? Like they'd be like, it's 70s, and then they would have like an afro and like a disco
70s
suit.
night, so it's like disco night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
So it's like, why did that happen when like
Maybe-
everyone
I
I know
mean,
is telling me that it's the 60s?
Obviously, disco went into the 70s.
Yeah, it's
but,
spilled. It's spilled over. It's not like, oh, it's the 70s, stop doing everything.
Right. But
Imagine if we actually did that. It's like each
That would
decade
be
you have
crazy.
to stop everything you're doing and immediately switch.
you have to
Aesthetics.
start a new aesthetic.
Yeah.
You have to.
Like make it up from nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, so the 60s, that's whenever like those, I don't really like the dresses, but like the just like rectangle dresses were
I
in.
almost wore one of those today. I cannot get myself to wear it.
It's like cute for the 60s.
I have a dress that I like it, but when I put it on, I don't know if it doesn't fit me right. It looks like, imagine a doll and her clothes are like snap-on plastic, and it's just like, and like the front half and the back half like snap together around her.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like it like looks a little bit big and bulky because it's hard plastic. That's what that dress looks like on me. It like looks big, and the fabric is like thick too. It's like big.
Actually,
Yeah, I'm not
that
even kidding.
thick?
Might be. It's
That-
like thick.
Prick.
Yeah, it's like, imagine like a coat dress. And it would have been perfect for the aesthetic today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I found what I found. But that dress, my dad got it for me, and I do like it because he was like, do you want this? And I was like, yes. But like something about the way that it fits on me, I haven't figured it out yet,
Mm-hmm.
how to make it work. But yeah, it's like straight like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like too, like there's like decades that I'm like into, like I love the 50s and I love the 70s and 80s and 90s actually. So it's just like really just skipped over the 60s part.
And like the 20s and 30s and 40s. You don't like those? Or the zeros?
They're all interesting, but like the ones that I'm like into.
Yeah. I really, really like the retro futurism
Mhm.
of the 60s.
Yes, I
Like the
love
space age and stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah, that's something. The reason for that is because that's when the space race was happening in the 60s.
What is that?
That's whenever the United States and Russia were having a race to see who can get to space first.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Cool.
So the space race, then
That sounds a lot cooler than it is. Like the space race sounds like we're like in space already.
and
And,
you're
like,
racing in space.
Yeah, or something like that.
It's the space race to see who can get to space first.
Yeah, right, that makes sense. But like it actually kind of sounds like a TV show about like space superheroes.
Yeah.
Like space race.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
But that is kind of what fueled the futurism aesthetic.
Interesting. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, saying retrofuturism is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that makes no sense. But it's like, I don't actually know if that's what it's called, but that's what I've been calling it.
I'm pretty sure it's called that. But yeah, I love that, and I want my whole house to look like that.
Real.
I want that. I want a. Oh my gosh! I want a mid-century house that's like so retro futuristic,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like everything's just like so odd looking.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like when you walk in, like you
Yes.
have like a sunken living room.
Yes.
Your kitchen has like crazy like stuff.
You know what? I want you to just give your Sims house to a builder and be like, build this.
Yes.
Like
The one that I built.
Yeah, for us. I wonder
Mhm.
if you could do that. You probably could. Like if you like give it to somebody else who will make it into actual designs.
Yeah, and like they could be like, well, we can't really actually do this, but we can do this. I'll be like, okay, I don't care.
Okay, I don't care. Can you just do it for me?
Yeah.
And furnish it and everything.
Do as much as you can with that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to furnish it.
Right, I don't. Well, I do, but like I don't want to have to start. If that makes sense? Because like starting
Oh my gosh.
is so
Once you
stressful.
find something though, it's like now there's everything and it's almost overwhelming.
Right. Yeah, it is fun. I just wouldn't want to do it by myself, but I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Also, something that I realized, microwaves have always reminded me of the 60s because it really just feels like it fits with like they're having like it just like feels like it fits because that feels so like futuristic but like
Mhm.
old.
Yeah.
But I learned that my grandma told me that people didn't even have like microwaves in their house until like the 80s or something like that. Like 70s. I don't know, after the 60s. And I was like, "Oh, interesting." They were invented like a long time before that actually,
Mhm.
but they weren't like common household things.
Yeah. I'm sure rich people had them.
That's what I said. And she was like, "Maybe."
She just doesn't want you to know more about her time period than
Right.
her.
Right.
Because that's
Her
what
time period.
that's what every old person does. Whenever you try to say something about their time period, they're like, maybe it wasn't like that in my life though.
I guess I get that because if a little kid tried to tell me about like DSs and stuff, I'd be like, "Get out of here."
So true, actually.
I'd be like, "Leave," because you do
I'd be-
not know what you're talking
They're like,
about.
actually, the DS was like this, and it didn't get invented like this until this. I'd be like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. So I get it.
Yeah, I do get it. It's just like,
It's
funny.
annoying. It's annoying when it happens to you, and I wouldn't want to continue that tradition, but I do feel it in my
there's so
soul.
many generational traditions that like every generation doesn't want to continue, or at
Mhm.
least this generation doesn't.
Right.
But like there are some things that are just impossible to not,
Right.
like hating the next generation after you.
Also, I saw, okay, this is bizarre, because you know how like the generation charts, some of them are different than others, and you don't really know which is it. You know, like which generation you're in. Sometimes it like fluctuates which year it actually is.
Oh.
So for Gen Alpha, one of them said 2013, one of them said 2010. That would mean 15-year-olds are Gen Alpha right now. Isn't that crazy?
Ew. I don't believe that. I feel like that's way too soon.
That's what I was thinking, but if Kelsey's Gen Z, that's like,
Yeah, but she was born in 98.
right, to 2010? I feel like that's a long time.
Yeah, but not long enough for a whole new generation.
Well, generations come by quick.
So then why don't every generation just be a decade? Why isn't Gen Z just 2000 to 2010?
That's actually a really good question. I wonder if it's based off of the average age of when people are having babies.
Maybe.
So it's like averagely when Gen Z gets to be around this age, they're going to have babies and then make
The
Gen
next
Alpha.
generation.
Right, the next generation. And maybe they're just like not super accurate or something. I don't know. I've actually never thought of that before.
Yeah, because
Like,
Gen
why?
Z's kids. Well, the top of Gen Z is having Gen Alpha, but mainly like millennials, I feel like, are having Gen Alpha.
Right.
And then the second half of Gen Z will have the first branch of the next generation, Beta.
Beta. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that would mean that the first half of Gen Alpha will be having the
Second half of
also Gen
Beta.
Beta.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Ew. What? Ew.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So actually, yeah, that's crazy. I've literally never thought about why the generational like sections are sectioned the way that they are.
yeah. But I don't really give a damn.
Good reference. What year did that come out?
What?
Did you not know you were referencing something?
No, I just said that.
Oh. Sounded like you were referencing Gone with the Wind because at the end he goes, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn."
Oh, I
And
do
that's like a
know that, but
thing.
I was just saying that because it's a
Oh, well,
sentence.
Well, it sounded like you were. Like you said it like that. I wonder what year that did come out though.
That was definitely like in the 40s.
Whoa, you think?
I think.
No. The Carol Burnett show did like a episode on it because she was like,
Maybe
for
the
those of you who
60s.
didn't get to watch Gone with the Wind last night when it came out,
Oh.
here's a summary. And then she did it really
Hmm.
like extra version basically.
I was thinking it was like as old as like The Little Women that I watch.
Well, mate, I have no idea. I never know.
But
what
also
I'm
that
talking
Little Women I think was in the 60s anyways.
about. Really funny. That's the right movie, right? That's from. I just searched when did Gone with the Wind. Forgot the rest of it.
There's no way it didn't understand that though.
It didn't. Oh shoot, 40s. What the turd?
Wow. And I'm
What the heck?
amazing like that.
What the heck?
I just know my stuff. I know my time.
What?
I know my timeline.
What? Why would she have done that? Was her
Look
show?
up when Little Women came out. There's like 50 of them, but like there's a specific one. It might have been in the 60s because of the specific actor. I'm thinking of.
Wait. The first movie.
First what?
Movie.
What movie?
Little Women.
Oh,
It was a book first.
yeah, but not the first movie. Oh my gosh, that's going to be like in the freaking 1900s.
It says
Like 1900.
okay, I was like, it says 1949.
Let me see it. Make sure it's the right one.
Down below.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That is the one I watch.
Did she?
But the actor, I guess he was just old. See, I got both those movies, and I said they were in the same
You did.
decade.
Yeah, her episode was called Went with the Wind. I don't know. I guess she was just doing it because
Maybe
she felt
meant
like it.
come out as in come out on like a VHS or like,
Yeah. Because I was in 70.
or maybe it
70s.
came out in theaters again.
Yeah, it says on November 13th, 1976. She made that as a parody of the 1939 American historical drama film Gone with the Wind. I wonder. Interesting.
But anyways, was...
Hmm?
'Cause I'm trying to think. I thought that the moon landing happened in like the late 50s. So then what would the space race be if not just to get to space first, but maybe it's to do something specific first in space?
Mm.
Like maybe they've already been there, but like to do this specific thing in
Like
space.
put a satellite in there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're always like in competition with Russia.
Oh, really?
That's what the Cold War is about, but we'll talk about. That's kind of, well, the Soviet Union, which is what it is now, like in the 60s,
Okay. I was like, what? Okay.
is
'Cause
what
we're in the
Russia
60s right now.
was, used to be, and they didn't change till the 80s or 90s.
Okay, I don't know that.
But they used to be known as the Soviet Union.
Right, that sounds familiar to me.
And that's what, like the Cold War, I've told you this too,
Mm-hmm.
is with the Soviet Union and us.
Mm-hmm.
And that started, I think, in the 50s, and it lasted until the 80s or 90s.
Wow. I don't really know too much about. I say this every single time. I don't know like what happened when. So it's like if you're like, tell me everything you know about the 60s. I'm not sure I could tell you anything.
Well,
Hairspray's in the 60s.
yeah. I pretty much said everything I know about the 60s, unless I'm forgetting something. Everything I know about the 60s, not including my research.
Yeah.
Which I did already know a little bit about that, but like
I wonder what it is.
I didn't know like everything.
Right.
And I still don't. No one does.
Okay, interesting. I don't know very much history. I definitely think that there's more. I should be doing like a better job of like knowing what happened, like because we don't want history to repeat itself, of
Mhm.
course. I just kind of like learn things as I go because I don't know if they just never taught me in school or if I never paid attention or what.
Could be
Maybe-
a mixture of both.
Yeah. But like when people, I feel so stupid when people are like talking about things that happened in history, like, and it's sort of like a thing that everybody knows, and I'm like, right, but I don't know it, and it's
Then
really
that's
embarrassing.
probably you just didn't listen.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing. Like because you know a lot of stuff about history, and I know of more like pop culture things rather than like big like government things
Mm-hmm.
that happen. Because I'll be like nothing happened in the 60s, and you'll be like everything happened in the 60s. There was like all these wars, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't know.
We were in literally 16 wars in the 60s. Compared to us two, I know a lot about history.
Yes.
But compared to, like, my sister's boyfriend, he knows a lot.
Maybe we should have a good conversation with him.
Yeah.
I'm all for learning, but like whenever I'm like talking to my like grandparents about it, they don't talk about like historical things. They talk about how they couldn't drive the stick shift, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not
Whole
talking
thing.
about. Yeah. And so it's like,
I only know the stuff I know because of school or because I was just interested and looked it up, which you're not into that.
right.
I'm into learning about history.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like cool and stuff. I think I just see it as like having to do something, and so I don't. So, and I have a hard time with things that I have to do because it's like a chore.
That's very odd. That just sounds like you don't want to learn it.
But it's not that I don't want to learn it, because like if we're having a conversation about it and you're telling me about it, then that's like fine, and I'll be like interested and like involved in the conversation. But if I just have to like sit down and like read about it
Well,
myself,
maybe not that wording, like you don't want to learn it, but you don't care to.
that
Like
sounds
whether we had this
bad,
conversation
though.
or not, whether we talked about history or not, you wouldn't care either way.
I don't know that it's.
But
I don't
I'm like
care.
searching for history. But
Yeah.
you're like, I don't care, but if it's brought up, that's fine. Because otherwise, it wouldn't feel like a chore, and like you would then be like, oh yeah, let's watch a history documentary about this.
I think it's more of because I know I should know history better, and so I'm putting it on myself as a thing I have to do.
We'll just
And then
learn
I
about
don't
the things
want to
you
do.
want to, or the things that are actually important as they come along.
Right.
But I just look up stuff that are interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting, especially if I go to a museum about it.
I love music.
I like learning through museums, because it's like, it's not just words on a screen or in a book. It's like I can see
Documentaries
them
are
and stuff.
visuals too.
Yeah, it's just usually when I want to watch something, I want to watch something like funny and not depressing.
It's not depressing always.
Sometimes it is.
Well, museums are depressing.
Yeah, but if I'm like, I'm going to a museum.
Then be like, I'm watching a documentary.
Yeah. It's just all mindset stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, that's just something I like. Literally, my two favorite subjects are history and geography.
And those are my worst subjects. Like, actually, I'm not, like, that's not even, like,
No, I know.
yeah, that's not even, like, being dramatic or anything. Those are literally the two that I was the worst at.
They were I think, my best subjects.
Because I think I was pretty good at English, because, like, it came easier to me. But, and, like, math, I didn't really want to do it, but I understood it.
I swear I was good at English, but now I'm not.
You were good at creative writing.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever was bad at English in
Okay.
school. I think it was because
I think I only took one English class with you anyway, and it was creative writing. So, that's the only reason I know that.
no, we took that Narnia class too.
Whoa.
And we literally did a whole semester together. So we did
I
like
thought that
three.
was also a creative writing class.
No, it's just there was one creative writing project.
Right, and I hated it because
And
I
I
was being creative.
Absolutely.
No,
loved
I
it.
loved it because I was being creative, and I got marked off because I was being creative. And so that's why I hated it. Because I was like, this is so fun. This is not just like a regular paper. We actually get to be characters and stuff and like write a story. But I got in trouble for making it too fun, I guess.
School is not the place for you
No.
because it's very follow the guidelines, and you don't like that.
I did a really,
You absolutely hate being told what to do.
I did a really bad job in school. If you look at my report
You would
cards.
have been good at almost everything if it wasn't like you have to follow the rules.
If it wasn't like so strict. Because I can do the work. I just get in trouble for doing things
differently.
differently, and it was really making me upset. So I would just not try as hard, maybe? I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know I wasn't trying to my full extent. I'm lazy
No.
and I'm I'm good at procrastinating. I hardly
You
ever
literally
did my
0%
homework.
did your homework unless I was with you, forcing you to do the homework.
Yeah. But they said it was like optional, that's why we did it at home.
Not every single subject.
Yeah, they did.
Also, whenever is homework optional? Because I would have
Well,
not
in
done
history, my homework was optional. It was just ideal because it was preparing us for the tests. which I'm impatient. And so I didn't do my homework. And so when the tests came, I didn't know what the answers were.
Anything.
And some of them I could have gotten if I would have actually thought about it, but I was too focused on getting it done quickly. School is just not for me.
No.
But like I know, see, history, I could have done better. Whatever. This is so sad.
Well, I wasn't good in school. I absolutely hated school more than anything.
Mm.
People who get straight A's, like, you have to like school for that.
Yeah, you have to want to be good, and I wanted to be good, but not bad enough to be good.
Yeah, same. I wanted to be good, but, like, I didn't push to be better.
Right. I was never the kid to get like an 80 back on my test and like be upset, or like get a 90 back on my test and be upset.
Literally any grade I got, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I actually don't care.
I actually don't care because I didn't care about what I was doing, and I do feel bad now for like my teachers because I know how horrible that is as a teacher to have the kids you're teaching to just not care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really annoying because you're giving them your time and you're really trying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I feel so bad. But what's done is done. I can't go back and be better at school. I can't undo any of that.
I just want to learn the things I want to learn. Yeah, I think I absolutely hate math. Math is actually the worst ever. Anyone who likes math is a serial killer.
Carly likes math.
Carly likes every school subject.
Carly will tell you she doesn't like math, but Carly will also do the math when she doesn't need to.
Yeah.
I had a friend one time that literally we'd be talking and she would just randomly make up a math problem in her head and be like, I'm doing math. And I'm like,
that's ugly.
I'd be like, why are you doing that? She's like, because I want to. It's like,
that's
okay.
actually psychotic. Anyone who brings up school, like,
you do
to talk about like school, like math problems or science equations, or like things that like aren't just like
or like asking you what the
things.
capital of every state is.
Yeah, but even that's like more fine than what I'm talking about, because that's
I think
just like,
because you like it.
I don't like that. It's just like that's like different because that's like trivia kind of thing. But like to be like, well, let's think about it a little more. If a to the 5 power to the a to the 6 to the x to the bitch, like when people start talking like that, I'm like, I'm actually gonna never talk to you again because I hate it so much. I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Because Carly does that sometimes.
Don't tell her.
Carly will like start like just doing school in a normal day setting, and I literally will turn to her and be like, stop. But moving past math because I hate it more than anything in this whole entire planet.
That's crazy.
But anyways, we're actually so off the rails. We can, talking about school, actually, I guess we can segue into it easily. Let's do a quiz.
Let's do a quiz.
It's
Pop
quiz.
Okay, this is gonna be rough. Which British rock band was formed in 1962 and became one of the most influential acts of all time?
The Beatles.
The Rolling Stone.
Actually?
Yeah, that's the answer. It did sound like that, but maybe they were formed after the Rolling Stone. What famous civil rights leader delivered the I Have a Dream speech in 1963?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Doctor.
Which magic bullet conspiracy theory is associated with a presidential assassination in the 1960s?
What is it wanting? What is it asking?
Mm,
What magic bullet theory?
Yeah. What? Which magic bullet conspiracy theory is associated with a presidential assassination in the 1960s?
I don't really know how to answer.
Yeah, I don't
that.
understand. Which magic bullet conspiracy theory?
Like, it wants to know what theory.
Which magic bullet conspiracy theory?
Well, I know that. Okay, let me think a little because I know about this
Yeah.
assassination.
Assassination.
I know. Are there multiple choice?
Nope. It's just reveal answer.
Oh. Like, it wants to. Like, is the. It just wants to know what the theory is.
Yeah. Or like, what's it called?
But it's literally called.
It's called Magic Bullet. But it says which magic bullet conspiracy theory?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. To
Maybe
me.
it's worded wrong. Do you want to like share a conspiracy theory that you know?
Well, I don't fully.
That it was like an inside job or something?
No.
That it was Marilyn Monroe?
No. It's like. Because it sounds familiar to me. Like, I know I know that there are conspiracy theories about the bullet wounds and, like, stuff like that. Because, like, okay, I could be so wrong and it's been a while, but, like, I feel like there was a bullet that, like, hit him, and the way it should have went, it didn't go that way, and it went somewhere else or something like that.
Okay, like it.
Like
Okay.
that. Hopefully that is.
Oh, it's just who. What was the president?
It just wants to know what the president is.
I guess the name of the conspiracy is John F. Kennedy's assassination. That was really
That was
weird.
a horrible question.
We knew it. It was just
Yeah.
like it was asked really.
It was like,
weird.
which conspiracy theory is this?
And then it wanted. Okay, that was really weird. It should be the magic bullet conspiracy theory is associated with which presidential assassination.
Exactly.
But it really didn't.
It did.
Someone did
not
that wrong.
Do good.
Sorry, whoever that was. I'm sorry to this man.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
Okay. Which groundbreaking sci-fi television series premiered in 1966?
Star Trek.
The space race. Star Trek? Yes, Star
Yes,
Trek.
got one.
Well, we got
oh wait,
two.
yeah, we got that other one.
3.
3.
We got I Have a Dream. We got Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And also we did know the answer, but we didn't say it. But
we'll give ourselves that point.
we should. So hold up 3 points to us. Just you hold them 3. What was the popular dance in the 1960s that involved twisting the feet? The mashed potato? Wait, what's it called actually? The sugar step?
I feel like that's so much older.
Twisting the feet, though. That's how you do it. Maybe it's just the twist. Like maybe you twist your feet the same direction so it's also your body.
Maybe. I don't know. You have answers, so just go with that.
The twist. That's what
Period.
I said.
That sounded way more 60s.
Yeah.
Because, like, the mashed potato and,
That's like the 20s.
That's very, like, 30s. and
Okay, yeah.
Stuff. Okay, yeah.
I would do that wearing like a flapper dress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the twist. I knew that. Who was the first man to walk on the moon in 1969?
Wait, what's his first name?
Neil.
Neil Armstrong.
Yes. I remember because his last name, if you don't have someone said that if you flip his name, Neil A. Backwards is alien.
Oh yes.
Because
That
someone
was
said that he was.
crazy.
I was really having a rough time. Because I was like, there's no A, and I got really confused. Which 1967 music festival. Oh, wait, I didn't reveal the answer to make sure. Yes. Which 1967 music festival is often considered the pinnacle of countercultural movement?
Music festival?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an answer, but I don't know if it's that old. But like I feel like it could be.
Okay.
Coachella?
Right?
Like I feel like it can't
No.
be that old.
Monterey Pop Festival.
Would have never in my life gotten that.
It must just be like the name of one festival. Like it
I
only
do
happened
now
once.
wonder when Coachella first happened though.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only music festival I know of
Same.
that's like reoccurring.
Maybe it got turned into the Coachella.
Maybe. What was the main fighting ground during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
I don't.
But I don't know where.
Okay, the answer is... okay, it's really obvious. Give one guess.
Cuba?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if it wanted like a very specific
Yeah.
place.
That just seemed... like, obviously you would guess the Cuban Missile Crisis would be in Cuba.
Cuba.
But, like, it seemed like a scary answer.
Yeah.
So, what children's toy made of a looped wire was popularized in the 1960s?
A yo-yo.
A looped wire?
I would assume, unless it's a hula hoop, but I thought that was in the 50s.
No, it's none of those things.
Oh, what is it?
It's a slinky.
Oh. Classic.
I was thinking like a doll that's like looped wire is what I was imagining. But
Yeah.
looped, I don't know. I guess it is looped. I just never would have used that word to describe it. Okay. Which American boxer proclaimed himself the greatest during the 1960s? Do you know boxers' names?
I feel like it has to be a name we've heard of.
I'm gonna say maybe the greatest.
I feel like there has to be like a boxer
I'm gonna say his name is Alan Bruce.
that like is like super famous.
I don't know.
Famous boxer. I know I'm gonna know the name, but
Jake Paul.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Bruce Allen. Just kidding. Muhammad Ali. I didn't know he was a boxer.
I wouldn't have thought of him.
I've
'Cause when
heard
I
that
think-
name before, but I didn't know he was a boxer.
Yeah.
Which contraceptive pill approved in 1960 revolutionized birth control?
Is it actually just called Plan B?
I was imagining that would be, and it is called that, but it's not telling me. It's not.
I thought you pressed
it's not
it.
called that. It's called the combined oral contraceptive pill. The turd? What the?
Would that is
turd?
that the same thing?
I don't know. I
Me
have no idea.
neither.
I have no idea. I'm not well, like.
I
In the know.
still only have 3 points.
Are you kidding? What?
What was the question before the boxing? Oh, yeah, we still only have 3 points. We haven't gotten anything right.
The toy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another. In 1969, what music festival drew over 400,000 attendees in New York?
Oh, New York.
Rolling Stone Music Festival for
Yeah.
the ages. Woodstock.
Woodstock. I've heard of that one.
What famous doll made her debut in 1959 and continued her popularity into the 60s?
Barbie.
Barbie, I'm assuming. Which fictional secret agent made his film debut in the 1962 movie Dr. No?
What's his name?
That's the question.
Oh, I thought you would know. I know who it is. I just can't remember his name. Agent
What?
007?
No.
Is that too... What is it?
It's loading. It
Oh.
pressed. It took me. It redirected me to somewhere.
Or is it... What's his face?
No, that's. What? James Bond?
Yeah, it's one of those guys. It's
You
the only
think?
secret agents I know.
But isn't he from the movie James Bond?
Agent 007? No, they're different.
They're different people?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh. I did not. Oh, yeah, James Bond.
Oh.
What the heck? I do not know who James Bond is. All I know is Bond. James Bond. That's literally it.
Yeah, same.
What 1965 act prohibited racial discrimination in voting in the U.S.?
We learned that earlier, the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
Movement.
Voting Rights
Okay.
Act.
That was literally the exact same question as last time. But
Right.
anyways.
Which band released the album SGT Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in 1967?
The Rolling Stones.
You think that?
No.
It's the Beatles. In which country did a cultural revolution begin in 1966 led by its communist leader?
Say that again?
What country?
Oh, the Soviet Union?
Right. Russia? Oh, China. Isn't that in both?
I'm about to leave.
Wait. Oh, what? Communist. Okay. What was the name of the ship that British band The Beatles traveled on to the U.S. for the first time?
They probably named one of their songs after it.
The Yellow Submarine.
Sure. Honestly.
I know that's one of their songs. No, it's RMS Queen Mary. What's that? Okay.
I hate the 60s.
In 1960, Alfred Hitchcock film is famous for its shower scene. What 1960 Alfred Hitchcock?
Psycho?
Right, the scary. Yes, you're right. Another
Finally.
point.
6.
6. What? Which muscle cars introduced in the late 1960s featured a horse logo?
Oh.
Mustang?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Ford Mustang.
I thought you were about to be like, nope, it's this. You love to do that, and I'm scared every time.
What? That's not my fault. What cartoon family debuted on TV in 1960?
Oh, there could be absolutely so many. But I'm going to say...
The Flintstones, the Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
The Jetsons feels... The Flintstones.
Freak!
I said that. I said
Let's
the
get that
Flintstones. I
anyways.
said the Flintstones.
You said the Flintstones, I said the Jetsons. We can get that point.
We can get that point. I don't know how many questions there are.
I was thinking the Flintstones because that's way more popular than the Jetsons, but I wanted to say the Jetsons because it's more fun.
Yeah, it also felt right. Okay, but it wasn't. Which 1960s musical is set in New York and based on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet? West Side Story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Period.
What major sporting event first aired in color in the U.S. in 1966?
The
Probably
Olympics.
like freaking golfing. Super Bowl.
Freak.
Why did I think it was so boring? Okay, which 19...
golfing.
It just felt right that it was going to be some boring thing. Which 1962 event was the most dangerous confrontation of the Cold War? That's going to be a you question.
No, and I'm not going to be able to answer it.
Okay, it was one of the earlier questions.
Is it the assassination? Oh. One of the earlier questions in this quiz
I believe. Yes.
during... Ask it again.
Which 1962 event was the most dangerous confrontation of the Cold War?
can't even think of another like.
That's okay. Just let me know.
Oh,
when-
the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yes. You got it. Which artist painted the iconic Campbell's soup can in the 1960s?
I don't think I really know any.
Yeah, what? I don't know.
It's definitely gonna be one of those artists that we think is in the freaking like 16.
Yeah,
That's
like
it.
Michelangelo.
16.
In the 16.
And it's actually he's in the 60s.
I don't even remember any artists.
Like I don't want to say one that is in 16.
Just I said Michelangelo,
Let's go with him.
which I know is in 16. It's Andy Warhol.
Oh, I have heard of him.
I thought that was an actor.
I think he's scary looking. Most people from the 60s are.
Why did I think he was an actor? Is he an actor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which film? Why did I say Michelangelo? Which film released in 1965 is about the Von Trapp family?
Ah, The Sound of Music.
Yeah. What children's toy introduced in 1967 was a 3D puzzle cube?
The Rubik's Cube.
That's what I imagine. Yes. Another point. Okay. Who wrote the novel In Cold Blood, which was published in 1966? I don't know. Choose an author, you know.
I don't know any authors.
Shakespeare, since we're going with our
Yeah.
old 16 people. Truman Capote.
Never in my life.
Yeah, I don't actually know if I said that right. What was the controversial war that the U.S. was heavily involved in during the 1960s?
Cold War.
No.
What?
Vietnam War.
Oh.
Which spacecraft tragically caught fire during a pre-launch test in 1967, killing all astronauts on board?
Yeah, Big Bird was on that.
Are you
From Sesame
lying?
Street. Not even kidding.
Wait, this was in 67? This must have happened again because I feel like Carrie told me that she saw it
Oh,
happen
maybe
on
Big
TV.
Bird was in that one. Maybe it just happened twice.
It had to have because she wouldn't have been alive in 1960s.
She said she watched it happen.
On TV, yeah.
Yeah.
She was like
Maybe
in
I'm
class.
thinking the one that Big Bird was on. It was that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know I'm going to know that.
I'm not going to know it. Apollo 1.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds very spacey.
I have heard that.
What countercultural event took place in San Francisco during the summer of 1967? What does countercultural mean? I don't know. I'm just gonna... Summer of Love. Oh, cute.
I didn't even get to guess.
I'm sorry. Which magazine, known for its bunny logo, opened its first club in 1960s?
Oh,
Playboy.
Playboy Bunny.
Playboy. The one we know. Okay, that's crazy. Oh, shoot. We're not going to know this. I'm not going to know this. You might. In 1964, who became the first African-American woman elected to the U.S. Congress?
Unfortunately, I do not know that.
I don't know anything about Congress.
Yeah.
Shirley Chisholm.
Okay.
Which famous guitar player performed the Star-Spangled Banner at Woodstock in 1969? What's his name?
You know someone? I have one, but I don't want to be so
Like-
embarrassing wrong.
Well, give it a go.
I don't want to say it.
I'm thinking the guy with the top hat and the sunglasses that
Oh.
are circles.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know who that is.
Well, I'm just going to say it. But I don't think they would ask it in this manner. But
Okay.
I'm going to say Elvis Presley.
It keeps
But
like
he doesn't seem like the type to be at
It
that
keeps-
kind of...
Oh, it's Jimi
Test.
Hendrix. I'll know who that is.
Hendrix sounds familiar, but...
Yeah. But it's Jimmy, like not Like it's Jimi.
Okay.
Which
What's the spelling gonna make it different?
I don't know. I just needed you to know that.
Okay.
Which 1960s TV series featured a family of monsters living in a haunted house?
The
The
monsters.
Monsters. That's what I was thinking. Yes. Another point. What was the first video game developed in the 1960s that simulated table tennis? What is this called? What is it?
I don't know if I'm gonna know.
Like
But
you
I
like
know.
move your thing up and down? I don't know what it's called, but I know exactly what it is.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, it's called Pong.
Oh.
But I know what it's talking about, though. In which city were the 1960 Summer Olympics held?
I'm just gonna say Los Angeles.
Rome.
Oh. I forgot it could be outside of the United States.
Who became British Prime Minister in
I was like, I don't think
1964?
Rome is here. Please, go ahead. What was it again?
Who became British Prime Minister in 1964 and was a member of the Labour Party? There's no punctuation except for when they feel like it.
It's that one dude.
It's that one dude. Do you have an answer or are you making that up?
No, I'm not gonna
Okay.
say.
Harold Wilson.
Good thing I didn't say.
Don't.
I was gonna say Winston Churchill, but that was the
Who was-
World War II
Oh.
dude.
Who is that? Okay. What Ford car model was introduced in 1964 as a pony car?
Oh, is it the? No, I don't want to say.
Porsche. I don't freaking know. Oh, it's Mustang again.
Okay.
Why is it Mustang again? Okay. This is the last one. Which civil rights activist was assassinated in 1965?
MLK.
Right, that's what I imagine. Nope, Malcolm X.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay,
We got 14.
out of 40.
Wow.
We're so good at that.
Yep.
That's actually bizarre.
Well, we always learn
True.
during these,
We learned.
so that's good, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But now, let's move on to a little segment. Welcome to our little segment. We are going to be trying 4 oddly flavored things that I found.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
I'm like actually nervous to try these things. Weird flavored food.
Okay, so the first thing I have is just these strawberry shortcake grams that are Goldfish brand. I don't think these are going to be bad at all by any means, but it's just like odd that like Goldfish is flavored strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
So, oh wow. I didn't expect that to work. I'm going to do that and they're going to be like, so that's our whole.
Oh. Oh, because there's no cheese on them.
Yeah, that would be nasty. It's a gram. It says
Yeah.
strawberry shortcake grams.
Right. So it's just a strawberry.
branded
Right.
Goldfish.
I was just in the mindset of like goldfish, which are.
So it's like a Teddy Graham.
Mm.
Smells good. It's good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste bad, but I don't know that I would choose it. Like the strawberry.
It's very cheesecakey.
Oh, it's not supposed to be cheesecake.
Well, it is cheesecakey, so I forgot.
That's weird.
It's just I immediately tasted cheesecake,
Mm,
so then I was like, yeah, has to be strawberry cheesecake.
right. Which, yeah, the strawberry tasted very, like, candy.
I'm like so hungry, so all this might just taste good to me.
Mm,
Well, not the whole thing, but yeah, I liked that.
Mm.
I would eat the whole bag.
I probably, like, if I was, like, in my pantry, I wouldn't choose it. But if it was, like, on a table and it's, like, we're having these snacks, I would probably have some.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Our next weird flavored thing is lemon flavored Oreos. Have you ever had these?
I'm not sure that I have. I think I've had golden Oreos before, but not, like, lemon.
I feel like I've had a lemon Oreo before, but I can't remember. But I'm intrigued.
That's a big pack, too.
Yeah, it's
Party
party sized. I'm gonna be set.
Yeah, I
For the
hope you
next-
like them.
I probably will. I will probably like these more than I like regular Oreos.
True, you don't like chocolate. Oh.
I just wanted to smell it real quick.
Okay. Do you want to smell?
It's reminding me of the one time we tried the Sour Patch ones.
Yeah. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Actually good.
Yeah, I like these. Yum.
Mm-hmm. It's like not too strong lemon,
Mm-hmm.
but you can taste it.
You know, these are probably just as bad for you as the other ones, but I wouldn't feel as guilty eating so many of them.
Mm.
Because it doesn't taste like chocolate, it tastes like fruit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I like those. Okay.
Ew, this is disgusting.
Our next thing we have are just these little candy canes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the twist is they're flavored as macaroni and cheese.
That is actually foul. I cannot believe this. What the heck? What the heck? Ew.
I'm so curious to see how this is gonna taste.
Yeah, if it's like sweet or like what?
I feel like there's no way it can be sweet and taste like mac and cheese.
Yeah, so it's gonna be gross. Are you getting it open or what?
A little bit. I got it.
I'm not. What? Can you open mine too? Wait, don't eat it yet. Wait. Can you?
Does not smell like anything. I'm really scared.
Yeah, gross. This is disgusting. Ew.
It smells like nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like anything. You have to break through the barrier. Ugh. Ew.
Are you ready?
Yeah. No.
I'm not tasting any mac and cheese.
No. Really suck on it. It's no. That's no.
I'm scared.
You'll like it, I bet. Ew. Ew. How do you not taste it yet? What?
I just taste like sugar.
Uh-uh. Look, ours look different.
There's like a very hint, like aftertaste of like,
Taste
cheese.
mine. Taste mine. Ew, gross. It tastes so bad.
Yeah, yours is definitely way more mac and cheesy.
Ew! Why are you still eating it?
Because it's still like so vague. It's not good. Oh! It's like sugar and then like a very hint mac and cheese.
It's not even like creamy mac and cheese because it's sweet and it's sugar. What? Why would somebody invent that? That's actually horrible.
There were so many different flavors of candy canes too that were weird, but I went with that one because it was just the first one I saw.
That
I
is
also almost got us pickled flavored cotton candy.
ew. I'm glad you didn't do that. I already don't like cotton candy, and then
I actually
pickle on
really
it.
like cotton candy. Whenever I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh, I'm excited," and I was like, "Wait, but it's not gonna taste good, so it's just gonna make me sad."
Yeah.
Our last little try test thing
Right.
is this Nuka-Cola Quantum.
Ooh.
It is from the game Fallout, which I didn't know until it got here, and it says Fallout on it. But this says, with its unique flavor and distinct bluish glow, Nuka-Cola Quantum was poised to dominate the soft drink market. Unfortunately, it was released to the public on October 23rd, 2077, the same day that the bombs fell.
I should play that
So,
game.
Yeah. I've seen it, but I don't really know like exactly what it is.
What should drink? Oh, the game.
Oh good. It is a twist off. Do you want to do the honors?
This is fun. Save caps, get gear.
I should have refrigerated it, like put it in the fridge like last night or something. So it could have been like ice cold.
Futuristic soda. It smells like,
Oh, that's just like blue raspberry.
yeah, that's what it smells like it is.
Should I?
Yeah, give it a little taste. Is it yuck?
No. It's like blue raspberry, but like also like just has like a weird something else. It's also extremely carbonated.
It does not look like it. It looks like it's just
kinda
like
looks
juice.
like flat,
Yeah.
but it is like
And then you taste it and it explodes. on
it's
your
like
tongue.
literally like Pop Rocks but liquid.
I like that. I'm not sure if I would like get it as a drink because it feels like you're just drinking candy,
Yeah.
which is what a lot of sodas are. But like, I wouldn't want to be conscious of that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I like it.
But yeah, there's the Nuka-Cola Quantum.
Yes. Yum. Yeah, good ending note.
Yeah, just to wash everything down. Cuz you needed that.
Yeah, that is gross.
But anyways. Yeah. Back to it.
Back to it.
All right, welcome back.
Wait, that soda was so fizzy. I can feel it in my stomach. Fizzy.
Yeah, it's like I still feel it going down.
It's still fizzy up there.
Yeah. But
Are you okay?
yeah. Okay.
I don't see it.
Okay, so now that we are on the second half of this, I'm ready for my research. It's not
Okay.
going to be like Anna is definitely much better at doing research than I am. Like, she finds topics that have plentiful of knowledge, and then she, like, does it all. But, like, I'm really good at finding stuff that's, like, it's kind of just a paragraph, and then that's it.
Mm.
But maybe we can talk into it, you know?
Right. Okay. Maybe I wouldn't get that soda to drink. It's like making me feel weird.
So I did my research on the cold case that is Marilyn Monroe's death.
Oh, the ending is horrible.
The ending? You know this?
No, I know parts.
Oh.
No, I don't. Go ahead, tell the story.
Okay, so
Oops.
just starting off, Marilyn was born on June 1st, 1926, and her given name was Norma Jean Baker. She was not actually Marilyn
That's
Monroe.
cute.
She never knew her father, and her mother was mentally ill. I don't really know, like, what specifically. I didn't get that deep on her, obviously.
Right.
But she went through 11 different foster homes growing up.
Whoa.
And since she was, like, young, she was very easily victimized. And she was even sexually assaulted in one of the foster homes.
Ew.
And that's kind of, like, her biggest thing. Like, the literal only reason she's famous is her sex appeal.
What?
And, like, that's, like, the only
Ew.
thing that gives her, like, that difference is because she's sexy and, like, she knows it kind of thing. But she was determined to become a star and did everything she could to get there. She took, like, every class she could find, and she, like, just, like, went, like, above and beyond. And, like, some people was like she may have went just, like, a little too far because she's crazy like that. But she eventually made it. So, like, she started in, like, where she got founded was as a model.
Okay.
She also was brunette. She is brunette, but, like, she dyes her hair.
Okay.
And she kind of immediately, I think, even, like, in that, took the name Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
There was, I remember it saying where she just thought of the name, but I can't remember. I didn't write it down. But, like, that's where, like, she got her big thing, was the model. And in the time of her second marriage, because she actually did get married, if I'm remembering correctly, at, like, 16 before all of that, and she was just going to be, like, a housewife. And, like, she got married to her, like, neighbor or something.
Ew.
But then she was like, actually, never mind, I want to be famous, and then divorced him.
Good.
But anyways, in the time of her second marriage, she did a movie called The 7-Year Itch, which is probably the most well-known movie she did.
I've never seen any of her movies.
Me neither, but it's the one with, like, the white gown and, like, the most famous picture in the whole world, basically.
Oh, that was in a movie?
Yeah.
What?
So in it, there's a scene where she stands over a subway vent, and every time it passes by, the wind blows her white dress up. And during the filming, there were around 100 men who crowded the scene to watch as her dress got blown up. And every time it did, they all cheered and, like, took pictures. Yeah,
Ew.
disgusting. So Joe DiMaggio, her husband, was furious, but it wasn't because of the men being disgusting. He was mad that Marilyn was doing the scene. And so when they got back to their hotel room, he beat her.
This is horrible.
And then
This is horrible.
she divorced him.
Good.
because
Wait, that's good that was allowed.
Yeah, because he beat her, so she was like, okay, bye.
Wait, that's horrible.
Yeah, and then she had one more marriage after him, but also ended up divorcing him too. I don't really know much about that third one, but in August of 1962, Marilyn's housekeeper found her unconscious in her bed. The housekeeper called the police, and they arrived to discover she had overdosed on pills.
Mm.
Marilyn suffered from like a bipolar disorder and depression, so she had like lots of medication to like get her through all that.
Mm-hmm.
But like she obviously got addicted to all of it. So she had a few like more like attempt of suicide before this like final one.
Okay.
So everyone believed it to be a suicide, but many others believed it to be a homicide.
Okay.
Because like, well, I lost my place. Because like when the police got to the house, there were like many signs of like a break-in.
Okay.
Because the window to her room was smashed.
Right.
And
right.
Marilyn was naked on her bed, laying on her stomach, and she was holding a phone receiver. And no one knows like who she was calling or who she was like trying to call or anything. There was no suicide note, and there was no glass of like water or anything to take the pills.
Okay.
There were a few like completely empty pill bottles on her nightstand, but in her autopsy report there were no pill remnants or residue in her stomach.
Right, so it wasn't pills.
The housekeeper was one of the main witnesses, and she claimed to have seen Marilyn's light on at 3 a.m. and her door was locked. But also her witness statement changes multiple times. So
Okay.
she first says she found Marilyn's body at midnight. She then changes it later in a police statement saying that Marilyn's body was found at 3:30 a.m. In an interview later, she says 2 a.m. And then years later in the 70s, she switches it back to midnight. She also said at some point that her door was never locked. But, whoa, I keep losing my place. Her door was never locked, but, oh, I see. I just worded that really weird. So at some point she said that Marilyn's door was actually never locked, but like coming back to the window being broken in, the family doctor and like Marilyn's like psychiatrist said that he had smashed the window because the door was locked and they couldn't get in.
Okay.
So lots of different things going on, different stories being told, and
Yeah.
none of them are like adding up to be the exact same story.
Mm-hmm.
So, the guy who was working the case, found all of these things very odd and stuff, but his boss took him off the case and did it himself instead.
Okay.
So that's also very suspicious. It's like the police and like government are trying to hide this.
Mm-hmm.
Because like once the guy was like, so this and this happened, his boss was like, okay, you're off the case, and I'm gonna take it over.
Okay, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So another suspect was her therapist, because he was seen at her house the afternoon, and then she was like found dead in that night, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was assumed or actually proven, I'm not sure yet, that they had a sexual relationship.
Mm.
And basically his motive would be that if word got out that they had that sexual relationship, he would lose his license.
Right.
But he was called to the house by the housekeeper when she found Marilyn's body. And I'm pretty sure she called him first and then the police.
Okay.
but the police got there first.
Okay.
And oh yeah, this part's actually crazy.
Okay.
So when the paramedics got there, they were doing like chest compressions on Marilyn, but then for some reason they let the doctor like take over, and like he had a adrenaline like shot, and he was gonna like give it to her to like start her heart again.
Mm-hmm.
But the paramedic who was doing the CPR on her
Mhm.
said that when he put the needle in, he didn't put it in correctly, and it was like going into her chest, and he was putting it in wrong, and so it like stopped. But instead of taking it out and like trying it, because I'm pretty sure you have to like go in like sideways or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of doing it like taking it out and trying again, that the doctor just like pushed harder and broke her rib, and then put the shot into her heart.
What the heck?
That's what the paramedic said. So basically he just gave her an adrenaline shot into her heart, and lots of people are like, so that's why she died fully.
Wow. Okay.
But also,
What?
yeah, that's crazy. The doctor also has a box that's called like box 39 or something, and it's stored, and it's a bunch of files like on Marilyn because he was her therapist. But it's stored at UCLA, which is a college in LA, and he won't let anyone open the box until 2039, which is 80 years after her death. So basically, another thing is people think that he has confessions in that box to her murder, and so
the
everyone's gonna be
limitations?
dead by the time that box gets opened. Anyone who could be possibly involved in that murder would be dead by the time he gets to confess. So that's another big theory.
So in 2039, we'll have
We'll
information.
have a lot more information about him and Marilyn, at least. Maybe it has nothing to do with her death, but lots of people are like, it definitely is.
Yeah, because why else?
Yeah, why won't he let people read it? But it could also just be because he doesn't want to confess to the sexual
Right.
thing. But the next suspects were actually the Kennedys, because she was having an affair with both the president and his brother, Robert Kennedy, who everyone called Bobby. She had an affair with she had an affair with JFK first, but then she was not being sneaky enough for him. So he was like dropping her, because evidently, I only heard this once, but like she was like trying to like call the White House, and so he was like, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
But also the thing that kind of made their,
And that's like proven.
it's not necessarily proven, because obviously neither of them said it happened, but it's very like everyone believes it.
Okay.
But the thing that kind of publicly confirmed, which I don't understand why it confirmed it, but I wasn't there obviously, but there's a video of, so it was JFK's birthday,
Okay.
and they had Marilyn, and it was like it was at Madison Square Garden, and like a big like thing. It was, and I don't know if everything was like televised, but this was where Marilyn got on to stage and sang him happy birthday, which is like a very, there's like two, it's very eerie, because it's like the same month, or no, just the same year that she died, but like you can see that she's like completely out of it, and like she's very like, the way she's singing it is so, some people are like, it's so like seductive to him, but to me, I just see it as like she's like unwell, like mentally and
Okay.
physically and like everything, because she's singing it very like slow and like almost like she like doesn't, I don't know, it's very weird. You should watch it. It's eerie to watch, but
Okay.
that is the moment that people are like, oh, they're having an affair, which to me, I'm like, how did you get her singing happy birthday to him that they're having an affair? But evidently it was very sensual or something, the way she was doing it.
Also, maybe you're just scared of it because you don't like old time videos like that.
True. That's a big part of it, but also it's just eerie.
But
to
I do want to
watch.
watch it. I do want to watch it.
But then after that, JFK like ended their kind of like contact at all. But then I don't know if after that or during and after she was having an affair with his brother Bobby, but she was, and she was supposedly having the affair up until she died. And he was also seen at her house twice the day of her death.
Twice.
Yeah. But
Isn't it crazy that with times like this, there's like always a bunch of people that are coming in and out of the house on the same day?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are there so many people here on this day?
Yeah. But basically the motive for them was just because, I don't know how true this is, but like it said that Marilyn had a diary and like in it were like entries of like government like secrets that she had learned from the Kennedy brothers.
So she was
And so like
spilling it
she was like, I don't know, being like, if she, I don't know, really. It's all, there's so many stories out there, but like a lot of them are like, if that's true, why is it not solved kind of thing? Because like there's this like, I don't know if he's an FBI agent or just like some random dude, but he was like hired to bug Marilyn's house. And if the things he says are true that he heard from her house, there's no way this case couldn't get solved, because he evidently had the house bugged the day she died and heard the conversations between her and Bobby Kennedy, which is very incriminating evidence because they were in an argument. And then he even went to go say that he heard muffled like sounds that sounded like she was getting like smothered.
And so the autopsy report didn't have anything to do with like her actual cause of death. It just,
no, it was just an overdose. That's what everyone says. It was a,
even though they said there's no,
it was a suicide of overdose. I don't really know all the scientific things, so like if it's called an overdose, maybe, I don't really know. But many, many, many other things just don't add up, and it's been one of the biggest unsolved, even though it's solved, unsolved cases in American history.
so hopefully we find out in 2039.
Yeah.
It's not too far away.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but like in the grand scheme of things,
yeah,
we're pretty
for
close.
us, we're very close to it, but not in the 60s.
Right.
80
Also,
years later.
Didn't her body go missing for a few hours after she was like buried?
I do remember hearing that like a while ago, but in the research I did, no one had mentioned that. I don't know if that's like a theory that her body went missing or like an actual, like her body was not.
I don't remember. I just remember
known the
someone
location of, but
told me that a while ago.
I mean, yeah, I literally wouldn't be surprised.
Not even a little bit.
Because also, the guy who took over the case from the other guy was there during the autopsy, so that's also like, he could have just been like, don't say anything that's...
You like bribed him?
Yeah. Because the guy literally solving the case was there during the autopsy.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so
So-
sad.
I believe she was murdered. I don't think she...
Yeah.
With the information, and literally all of this honestly could be made up by people too. Because, like, I wasn't there. And they could just be telling me things that aren't true. Like, all of that could just be not true. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it is a very closed case.
Right.
But with the information I have been fed, I believe she was murdered.
Also, I think the like whatever's in that box of
Mhm.
stuff, I would only trust what it says if it says something incriminating.
Yeah.
Because if it says something to get someone off the hook, it's harder to believe just like straight up,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, of course anyone would say that.
Yeah.
But if it's something incriminating, then it's easier to believe because there's less of a chance that someone would just be making that up.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they just are drama queens and want to
Yeah.
start stuff. But that's less likely.
Yeah. But it's a very interesting case.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like her life was very evenly awful and amazing. Because, like, obviously she was, like, one of the most famous movie stars,
Mm-hmm.
like, ever.
Yeah.
But also, like, her, like, reality, like, not on, like, screen and set, even probably on set, honestly, sounded very unfortunate.
Yeah.
She was addicted to drugs, and she was always sexually looked at, idolized.
Objectified.
Okay, well, that is all we had in the 60s. It's been a whole decade. It's freaking 1969 now.
Yeah. Phew.
Wow.
It's been a long decade.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching this episode, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully sometime that wall will be painted. So, yeah.
Catch you in the next one.
But anyways, thank you so much for watching or listening or whatever it is you're doing, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. No. I was trying to think. I couldn't think of anything.